What's up, everybody? Lou Vegas Superhome, yoursuperhome.com. Hey, do you have a small multifamily building where you have an intercom on the outside and an electric strike on the door, which allows access to the property once a tenant punches in a successful code? Well, this video is going to be extremely helpful for you because we're going to be talking about a very common issue that small multifamily has with intercom systems and an electric strike. So I'm going to go ahead and show my screen and show you kind of an exaggerated version of the problem that we're talking about here. So let's jump right in. All right, so here we go. So we have just a quick video that I shot on an iPhone. This is of a property that we went actually for a totally different reason. And we actually have a set of about 7 buildings where this problem is very persistent. It's not on all the buildings. It's only on some of the doors that's having this issue, but this was so exaggerated. I wanted to use this as the example here. So this is a property that has an intercom system on the outside, and this is the inside of the door where there's a handle and an electric strike. And if you can see right here, this electric strike is cut in right here, and here's the kind of the locking mechanism for the strike. And then we have the little latch from the handle here. I'm going to go ahead and play this video back here. What you're going to see here is basically a quick example of the door pressure caused by the weather stripping and probably alignment and a few other factors pushing on the door so that it's creating an issue with the strike firing. This is extremely common when you have different weather changes from cold to hot, weather stripping, alignment of the hinges, plumb the plumb level of the door. There's just so many factors that cause that door pressure. It could be the actual placement of the strike itself, but in this case and in many cases, the strike placement is totally fine. This is a perfectly good strike. Looks like a Asa Abloy model here, and it's causing an enormous amount of pressure on the door strike. Now, they call this preload on the strike. And again, many factors of this, but this will, if you see that little jiggling, I'm pushing on the door. I'm going to go back here. That's me pushing and letting go, pushing and letting go, pushing, letting go. When it comes back like that, that is the natural pressure of the door. This is going to be a big problem for this electric strike and the experience here, because the strike actually has too much pressure to actually fire. There's nothing wrong with the strike. It's perfectly fine. It works. It's just that the door pressure itself is causing this issue. And so when you have that amount of preload on pretty much most electric strikes that you'll find, from the most simple, the smallest, to even some of the heavy duty ones, you're going to have this problem. And it's really something to keep in mind if you're a multifamily apartment building owner and you have an intercom system with electric strike. You got to keep an eye out for this. Now, what are some ways that you can account for this and actually resolve it? So there's a handful of things. Do you have a vacant property sitting and you're worried about water leaks, pipe busting, vandalism, and theft? Well, InvestorAlarms.com has the best solution for your investment property to make sure you're protected at all times. We have professionally monitored alarms with water detection kits and more to help protect your vacant property. Go to InvestorAlarms.com today and secure your property. The first things you can do is you want to make sure, of course, that the electric strike was installed correctly. Chances are it was probably fine. It's aligned up properly. It's in the right spot. You only have but so much space inside of these door frames to adjust the strike forward and backward. That's typically not the major problem. The major problem is the door is not aligned properly. The hinges are not aligned properly. You have a weather stripping that is creating the pressure on the door. You may have a flow of air, maybe from the exterior of the property, that's creating pressure on the door. And so there's a lot of other changing factors. The wood frame itself obviously can expand and contract with the weather. Some of the ways that you can account for this and actually provide solutions would be to adjust the weather stripping, change the type. A lot of the pre-hung doors have a specific type of weather stripping on them. You can also use a door closer like this one, and that would actually help because it's going to control the amount of pressure and the speed at which the door closes and its final position. That will dramatically help how the door sits in that electric strike and make sure that it's not creating too much pressure against it to cause it to misfire. Another thing you can do, of course, is I think I mentioned adjust the hinges. And finally, just making sure that the door itself is aligned properly in the frame. And you can easily tell that if you just let the door go, does it sit or does it actually start closing on its own without too much effort and without you actually pushing on it? Does it actually move on its own towards the frame itself and towards the strike? So these things are something, that you can adjust, but you have to be educated to know that this is actually a normal function of the strike. If there's too much pressure on it, it's not going to fire adequately, and it uses, you have to adjust for this, right, from external factors that may become totally unrelated from the strike itself. Now, we have an example with a real estate investor. We've done 7 buildings and like 3 or 4 of them are having this problem, and they believe it's the strike itself, when in actuality, we've actually installed 3 or 4 different models of strike just to prove the point, to show even a locksmith, going out and verifying this, which is also a good resource too. You want to, partner with a good locksmith. They can also do an analysis and tell you right away what's happening. And this is a great resource to make sure that you're aware of how things can be affected over time when you have an electric strike with an intercom system at your property. So just a quick video, guys. Wanted to give you some education, something to look out for. Make sure you're educated when it comes to electric strikes and intercom systems, so that you're not falsely misdiagnosing it and trying to put the blame somewhere where it really shouldn't, right? So again, this is Lou Vega from Superhome, yoursuperhome.com. I really appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care.